where we're going to pick up is with you all basically sliding into this room from that tunnel. Kind of like a very long slide that kind of S turns as it progresses into this room. You guys are going to basically like slide through and kind of be ejected at the bottom of this slide, where you are effectively seeing a wooden door before you to the east, kind of like slightly ajar. You see that the door is flush at the ceiling, about like 16, 18 feet above you. Whereas down towards you all at the floor, there's basically kind of a U in front of you where the door comes probably about 4 feet away from the floor. On each side of this actual door, you're going to see statues of wizards who basically seem to be vaguely similar. And they are also upside down. And each of them holds a sconce in their hand, and the fire is still burning, and it's burning down towards the ground. So your immediate perception is going to quickly tell you two things. This room is upside down, and that fire is not natural fire, because it is burning towards the floor as if gravity were still in the opposite orientation. But other than that, you guys are kind of in this big room kind of like destroyed in like rubble. But there's these two wizards that kind of stand before you and the door in front of that. Otherwise, you are kind of inside of this little entrance hall.
So there is rubble on what is the floor for us.
Yes.
So it doesn't seem like and I guess we're not feeling any sense that like the gravity, other than what we can see like upside down, like right now, whatever that, like we're not feeling any sort of pull or anything like that, right? Like,
Make an Arcana check for me.
If I did a slight hop in the air, what would happen?
You hop. I posted a picture of the actual entrance into Discord to give you all like kind of a view of that. I hope that's kind of how the description worked out from what you guys would have experienced like last week. But that's kind of like the entrance that you just slid through. But yeah, like as you're kind of feeling this out, you have a pretty solid sense that that spire that is sticking out of this is probably closer to the base of it, and you are now climbed up from where that is as you climbed down. So it's far more just a natural situation of whatever this thing was, it is kind of stabbed into the ground, or rather into the ice.
so maybe it came from somewhere else and just landed oddly.
Closer inspection of the wizard statues? Anything out of the ordinary other than the flame that's not obeying the natural laws of physics?
Roll some perceptions. Or rather, roll a perception for me, Jimba. I think looking a little bit closer, it's not just that the statues seem similar, it seems like this is the same wizard.
Can I check the statues for like a switch or to see if there's any way to open the door?
The door's already ajar, but if you would like to look at the statues closer, you most certainly may.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna take a closer physical look at them.
So what are you looking for?
See if there's any switch or if there's anything else unusual like a slot or anything like that where you can either pull something from it or out of it, like even a small lever or something on it or underneath it or whatnot.
Gotcha. Make a perception check. Looking over these, besides the magic of the actual spell creating these flames, doesn't seem to be anything special about these statues. Just a bit of narcissism and probably an eternal fire, an eternal flame spell.
Does the door look reachable? You said it was about like 16, 18 feet up.
Yeah, effectively it's like a 12-foot tall door, and you guys basically have to crawl over the archway that would have been the ceiling.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I think, like, for instance, I think Velixis would need more than just to crawl over it. Velixis would need help.
Oh, we still got all the climbing gear with us, so that shouldn't be no problem. Anything coming sound-wise from the ajar door?
Roll a perception check. Pretty eerie silence in this place. You don't really hear much of anything. Perhaps occasionally kind of like groans almost that kind of strike you that perhaps the ice in this area is moving. But definitely kind of things that are much more gargantuan than perhaps like direct threats to you all.
Well, I don't think we can get back the way we came, so I suppose we've no real choice but to move forward.
Agreed. I'll try to scramble up and then lower the rope down for the remaining two.
Alright, I think you all have 2 ropes committed into that entrance to get down here. Do you guys have a 3rd rope with you right now?
Let me check and see if I do.
Yeah, I have like 2 strands of silk rope wrapped around my torso. In addition to the regular rope I was carrying. Can't have enough rope.
As long as you purchased it, that's fine. But you have to have that on you.
Yeah, it's in my I have 2 50-foot
It
sections.
doesn't matter. As long as you purchased it, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I got
But
it.
you can't just create rope out of nowhere.
Yeah,
So as long as you've had it.
yeah.
Okay,
Listen,
I don't have any.
yeah, I have plenty of rope.
Okay. I don't care.
All
You
right.
made a point of it in the past that you wanted to have rope on your guy, but my point is you guys have to have it on your character when you leave town. So yeah, it doesn't take any effort. This is a small little hurdle to get over for any of the humanoids. It's just big for Velixis because Velixis is tiny. Making a little bit of effort, it doesn't take much more than reaching your hand over to help Velixis over that. But once you all kind of slide this door open, you're going to see more rubble, a small corridor that kind of leads down this hallway, and 2 more door structures. Same situation. It's about 18, 16 feet tall. Each of the floor sections where the doors are, there is a U-shaped arch that basically is about 3 or 4 feet tall, and the door is probably about that 10 or 12 feet tall, running flush to the ceiling. But again, it has that gap on the actual area that would be your floor. In the same way, it has sconces that are burning with fire, that is again burning towards the floor. And there is just a bunch of kind of stone and rubble. but otherwise it seems like you are inside of a little passageway with a door to the north or a door to the south.
Do we see any knobs or handles anywhere on the doors that might uh, give us a sense of what size creatures they were made for?
Besides perhaps the idea that this wizard might be giant if he is the size of the statue, I would say there's no reason to expect it to be other than like a large humanoid. Um, but no, I don't really know enough about the Netherese to say what sort of doors they used, but I don't imagine it really has handles. I feel like they would
Okay,
be far too powerful magicians to use anything but magic to operate their doors. A little
gotcha.
handle just seems absolutely boring.
Okay.
But you've already seen that wizard, so like on some level you are expecting either a human or a large human because his statue is large. But I don't think it's crazy for you to expect anytime somebody makes a statue of themselves, they tend to make it bigger than they were.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess kind of moving into this tunnel. What do you think? North or south?
I usually always go left first.
I'm good on left.
North it is then.
What order are you guys moving down the hall?
I think probably Jinbao in the lead, right? Because he went first, and then maybe Brannick, and then Valixis, because we could help him up.
And these doors are shut, you said, correct?
Yep.
Well, if they're only opened by magical means, one of you two are going to have to open it. So I'll slide down one.
That was super meta knowledge. Do you want to push the door?
Oh,
My
sorry.
point was is I don't think wizards of the Netherese would have door handles. I don't expect these doors take anything but effort to open.
Uh, if
If
we
they want to lock a door, it's going to be locked with a magical spell, not with something mundane like a lock.
gotcha. Any other discerning features about the door?
It's an upside down door. I've described these doors so many times already.
All right. Well, I'll push, see if it opens.
The door open. You're going to see a room in front of you that has another door to the east. There is shattered pieces of wood and kind of table, basically, like around this area, but it otherwise seems to be some sort of room where you could accomplish, like maybe like a work or a studio, but otherwise doesn't seem to be anything in here.
Continue on then. How about this one? Push.
And you can push open another door. Inside, you will find another room with some kind of shattered things about it. There seems to be some like shattered glass and spilled fluids among some other wood and things that seems to have been shattered. And a small metal chest that is currently bolted to the ceiling or the floor above you.
But Willis notices the chest and goes, I want that chest. Also, yeah, she wants that chest.
How high above us is the ceiling slash floor?
Same thing. It's like 16, 20 feet.
Okay. So Brennick wants to looking at this spilled fluid. Is it still liquid? Is it frozen? He wants to try and like maybe I don't know, smell it, see if he can identify what it is.
I feel like that's a little sad description to say that it's a spilled fluid, but there are frozen pools of spilled fluid.
Okay.
Can I? Am I able to? Is Felix able to feel any kind of magic coming from the fluid, or does it just seem like regular fluid?
At this point, I would say there is no residual magic.
Well, Velixis, if you'd like, I could try to get that chest open. Might want to be careful, but it's not locked. Perhaps I can get it open with my mage hand.
Yes, 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 yes.
So Brannick he'll take the torch. I guess if it's lit up enough, he probably would have extinguished the torch and not. But he would bring back his mage hand, and he would send it floating up towards the chest and see if he can open it.
So, if it's in that far southeast corner, what sort of thoughts do you all have as Brennick goes to open it?
But it's like Felicia's thinking either she wants it to be ink and paper to make a copy of her spell book, or she wants magic. She's hoping for magic item, or she just wants something in there that's kind of old. She just kind of wants to just see if there's anything interesting in it because she likes old things like artifacts. But at the same time, she's like, why strap a chest to a ceiling? And if it's not locked, what's in
Roll an
it?
intelligence for me, Vilixis.
Alrighty.
And Brannick's just going to suggest just to Jinbao maybe to just step back in case there is something inside and it drops. It doesn't like fall on him. Keep a little bit of space out from directly underneath it.
Wise words.
Vilixis, the chest is strapped to the floor, so somebody can't steal it. The floor is now the ceiling, which is why there's a chest on the ceiling. So you can attempt to open the chest with the mage hand. Nothing happens. It seems to be locked.
Brannick will turn towards Felixis with a small shrug. It seems to be locked.
Give me a second. Let me see if I can try something. Okay, what is it? Are we? You said it's strapped to the floor. Are we able to undo the strap so that the chest can fall? Can we try to do that?
Roll a perception of disadvantage.
Yeah, the floor is the ceiling. Everything's topsy turvy. That's what's going on here. Like we're walking on the ceiling and we're looking up at the floor. It's strapped to the floor.
You are looking at it and you see no signs of what is holding it to the floor. It is a pretty common practice with safes that when the safe is open and the owner is inside of it, you bolt it to the floor.
The only thing I could, maybe I can try to shoot the lock with an arrow.
Do we see any signs of like a lock on the chest?
For what it's worth, yeah, I think it would be pretty easy to say yes, there is a locking mechanism that is visible.
Well, it's either a standard missile or a magical missile. What do you think?
Well, we could. Doesn't seem to be like it's going anywhere. We could see if we can find some sort of key somewhere else in here before we take too much time trying to get it open now.
Well, we may not come back this way.
It's okay. If we can't get it, it's fine.
I'm going to try to shoot the lock with an arrow. Although with that silence,
Oh, are you going to roll an attack? If you're going to shoot it, that's an attack all the time. I shouldn't have to ask for that.
yeah, that's why I was just getting ready to click it, and I'm thinking, well, we won't want to set off any alarms to let them know we're coming either. Maybe you're right. Maybe we'll circle back to this one. So I guess we would leave the room and then head back towards the other door.
Yeah. All right.
Could have some kind of magical alarm on it. Better safe than sorry. Push on this door.
You are going to see a large room with a bunch of books scattered about, cracked wood and kind of tables around the edges, a few upside down bookcases, as well as a large hole on the east side of it. Seems to be a pretty roughly dug tunnel that leads down further into the ice.
So Brannick is going to he's going to take a look at a couple of these books, try and see if he recognizes what language they were written in, if they're legible.
I think pretty quickly you are going to recognize that this language is beyond you. Roll an Arcana for me.
Nice one.
If you are going to understand any of these, you are going to need to tap into magic in order to pick this up. Which will pretty solidly confirm this is probably the language of the Netherese. And I think with that, I'll give you the name of it is Larose.
So Brannick would tell the others, I know a spell that might let me read these, but unfortunately, it'll take a good 10 minutes to prepare. I'm not sure we want to wait around that long. Would just perhaps I'll just grab a couple and bring them with us, and they're here.
All right. And if you didn't want to go ahead and try it, that's fine. Um, Felixis actually goes over towards the hole and peers into it to see if she can notice or detect anything from it.
Roll a perception, Alexis. And I think roll a D100 for me, Brennick.
Okay, I was gonna ask like too, like if he is looking around, like if any of the books like look, like they're more ornate, like bindings or anything like that, he would probably gravitate towards those. But otherwise, just kind of picking like a couple of random.
Yeah, I'm going to say at this point, if you're not going to use any resources to figure this out, you are literally a child inside of the New York Public Library. You might be in the map room. You might be in a coloring book room. You're not going to have any fucking clue until you use an actual resource. So,
Yeah, I don't have comprehend languages prepared, so
so
it would
take the
take
time to cast it. You're a fucking wizard, bro, in a Netherese area. You are a kid in a candy store. Are you really going to let them tell you that you have to move on?
It was his suggestion. Yeah.
And I think it's Justin not playing Brennick. Everything you've described that character as, this guy is not going to walk away from books, and you have no clue how to pick out these books on this ground.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I guess Brannick would just suggest maybe they keep an eye on the keep an eye out and give him 10 minutes, and yeah, he'll start ritually casting comprehend languages.
Let me have all three of you roll a d10. Velixis Jimbao, as Brennick goes through the process of ritually casting his spell, what are you two going to do? Just going to kind of hold tight? Stay
Yeah.
patient?
Yeah, I was putting the hold on. I think you wanted me to roll a D100, but I.
Nope, that was for Brennick.
Oh, okay.
That was when he was talking about just randomly picking up some of these books.
Yeah, just keep an eye on the hole and an eye on the door.
So, you guys take your time. It's going to crawl by in this weird silence that is cut by the mutterings of Brennick, before eventually you are going to finish your manipulation of the weave, where you are going to begin to understand. You're doing comprehend languages?
Yes.
Okay, so as long as you are touching it. So let's see. If you have to pick up each book and touch it, and it takes you about a minute to read each page, what sort of thought do you have on how you are going to cover this room?
So I guess first I would try and focus on if any of the books like they look like they have titles. I would just try to read those first and see if any of those are
I would
um
say assume that these books are basically like leather bound and you're kind of flipping to a title page. I don't feel like the actual practice of titling like bindings or fronts of the books was anything but pretty modern.
um okay. Do we have like a like an estimate of actually how many actual books are in here that are still within like good enough condition they could be read or
I feel like mid 20s. So you're probably looking at about a quarter to a half hour just to figure out what these books are about.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe like Brannick will try and like read the first couple pages of each to try and see if he can get a sense of what they might be about from that. Um, and then if there are any that are, I guess, particularly interesting, that might either seem like they might be uh, either like spell books or discussing the this place that we're in now, or the Netheries. Otherwise, he would just say like, to the others like, um, if you don't, it'll take me a while to obviously to look through all these, but
That's fine. I kind of want to look around a little bit more myself. Felix is going to move to the center of the room and cast detect magic to see if there's anything in the room that has any kind of magical source on it, in it, or is hidden by any kind of magic using the spell detect magic.
I think at that point you're just going to confirm that all of those sconces are magical. Um, I think continual flame is conjuration magic, and then any magical items or potions on your party. But other than that, you're not going to find anything to detect magic. But that is burning a spell slot right now.
Yes, I did burn a spell slot for that.
Uh, Go on, Brennick.
I was gonna say one other thing Brannick would be, I guess, trying to keep an eye on, like, do these, like, as he reads, like, as he looks over one and then another, like, do they appear to be written in the same hand, in different hands? Like, is the handwriting the same, similar throughout? That's just another thing he would be kind of trying to ascertain.
Let me get an insight from you. Going through the books, I think you're going to see signs that they are likely done by scribes. Perhaps you will occasionally find signs that perhaps they were done by the same person here and there, but certainly not all of them by the same person. I think you will find enough that you can recognize that these are not spell books. And I think you will find enough that kind of shows you perhaps all of these books were gone through, and these are the discarded ones. But among the most useful ones, you'll find three titles are going to kind of stick out to you. Magical Wonders of Netheril. And it is basically a collection of interviews with some Netherese archmages, and they kind of discuss their study of elven magic and the creation of mythalars. And then the books include sketches of these devices. And then one of the other books that kind of sticks out is going to be Mysteries of the Faerun, or the Faerun. And this is a book on a telepathic funnel-shaped monster of the Underdark that are Faerun. And it includes disturbing sketches of them. And then the third book that seems a little bit more interesting than the rest is going to be Wizards in the Hollow. And it is the birth of the Netherese Empire, and it's kind of chronicled in this kind of dull story about three different Netherese wizards.
Yeah, so Brannick would he would pretty much take up all three. Um, won't be able to. Not going to try and take the time to read all through them now, but now that he's gotten a sense that these three might be interesting or potentially useful, he would kind of let the others. He would tell them kind of the titles, um, and look forward to reading them. Reading them through at some point, but he doesn't want to take the time to read all the way through them now, and doesn't seem like these three would be immediately useful in terms of like where they are now. Although the sketches of these mythalars, do they look anything like the monolith from like the outside?
They're kind of orbs that almost sit like above a little dais, and kind of have like, I don't know, almost rings that kind of float around them or encircle them from the altar. But no, like they're something completely other.
Okay, yeah. So he would kind of put those away, kind of try and pack them as carefully as he can in his backpack, and then kind of move back towards the others and try and get a look at this tunnel.
So a thought occurs for Felixis, and she starts to move away from the hole, and like look on the ground. She's and on the at the and around the bookshelves underneath them, for anything else in the room. Like, sorry, I got distracted. For anything else in the room other than like the books, see if there's a key that may have been left in here, or if there's anything else in here that could be of use to us as well.
Roll a perception check. So that first picture that I just posted into the Discord, that's a pretty like rough sketch of like what the Mythaler is. How it's like an orb almost sitting on a dais. And then the second item is a Phaedrum. No, looking around this room, you're just gonna find more trash kind of strewn about. Doesn't seem to be anything of any use in here.
All right. She she goes back to the door in the hole and she continues to make sure she's looking just in case.
So is this tunnel? What kind of slope is it? Is it something that could be potentially like uh, crawled, or we need to kind of do similar and kind of like slide down? Or
This one's looking like near vertical.
okay. Is there any light coming from within it? And if not, if
Make
it's
a perception check for me. You're reasonably sure at some point it reconnects with this tower, as you can kind of see the flicker of firelight. It's hard to distinguish how far it is, though.
okay. So Brannick, I think, is going to cast Mage Hand again. Um, or yeah, I guess he'll cast Mage Hand and maybe put a torch in the hand again, similar to what he did before, and kind of start moving it down and see if he can get any sense with this additional light of how far down it might go. he can get it 30 feet away from him. That's as far as it can get.
Roll a wisdom. And add your Arcana bonus to that. What's your Arcana modifier? Plus 10?
Yes.
So I think with a 7... No, wait, it would be... Yeah, because the plus 1 is just your wisdom stat. A 17. I think you can be relatively sure that it's probably about the same height of a room and maybe about the same distance in the tunnel. So you're looking at about like 30 to 40 feet before you reach the next ceiling, which again is the floor.
Okay, so Brannick would share that with the others.
Hey, Jimbo, how long is that rope you have?
I have 100 feet. Well, h- how much did we leave in the slope?
I believe you all left 2 lengths of rope
2 lengths
in
of
that
rope.
entrance area. And I
And
saw that you had 2 on your person.
I still have the climbing gear, the pitons, and all that kind of stuff.
You would technically use some of the pitons from that. But I believe a climbing set comes with 10 or 20.
Yeah, I believe it's 20. And I'm sorry. How deep did it appear to be foot wise?
Brennick is telling you it's probably 30 to 40 feet.
So we've got plenty of rope.
So, uh, I'm not sure if we want to go. If we do want to go explore the hole, I know I do. You could tie some rope around me and lower me into the hole since I don't weigh as much, and I can go in a little easier and quicker, and let y'all know if there's anything or anyone down there, and if so, I can tug on the rope. If I do, you can pull me back up quickly.
So even though she's a small stature, can we fix the climbing gear on her? The
Yeah,
harness.
it's effectively an adjustable harness.
Yeah, because I can use slow fall to drop at the end. I guess we'll strap her up and lower her down.
So you can lower Velixis down to where you are going to see a larger room, a bunch of scattered things all about it, as well as another hole down into the ground a little bit off to the west of where you are, as well as 2 large cages, probably about twice your size in either direction, that are kind of like scattered on the ceiling, in pretty poor shape, and 2 doors, one to the north and one to the east of you.
Alright, so I just let them. Would they be able to hear me if I were to let them? If I were to say they can come on down? I don't see. There's no one in here, or nothing. There's no one down here.
It wouldn't take much effort for you to say it loud enough for them to hear.
Okay, then she tries to she says it loud enough for she tries to say it loud enough for them to hear, but not too loud to where she's yelling.
Make a performance check. So you yell full volume.
She covers her mouth as she realizes that she yelled so loudly and starts to like look around, uh, worriedly, as if to see if anyone was listening or noticing any movement.
And I would start lowering Brannick down.
Yes, I would just essentially be relying on the rope, right? So you just have the one climber's kit.
Well,
I mean, if you get Valixis off of the rope, you could bring the climber's kit back up and then lower yourself down with the climber's kit.
Yeah, I undo all the harnessing thing on me so that they can pull it back up to them.
Oh, yep, that makes more sense. Yeah, I'll do that.
is there anywhere that I can attach the rope for me when I go down?
You could attach it to the table off to the side and hope that the wood is strong enough to actually hold it. But other than that, there's not really too much in that room.
Because I guess we should leave a rope to try to climb back up. Yeah, so I'll try that. I'll try after I lower Brannick down. Um, I will try to secure the rope on the table.
Gotcha. Do a strength check for me. Yeah, so you lower Brannick down without any problem. And do a wisdom check. I guess if you have sleight of hand, you could do a sleight of hand with your wisdom modifier. Yeah, that's good enough. So you can tie a solid enough knot to this table that you feel safe lowering yourself, or rather, like kind of sliding down the rope for what it's worth.
Yeah, I'll do that. So we at least have something to use to climb up if we need to. Which leaves us with only one section of rope, just FYI.
But Lynx just moves out the way of the hole so that she's not in the way when they're coming down.
I feel like you guys should be out of rope at this point.
Did we use some of Brannick's rope on the slope, or
If I understand correctly, you guys have 3 things of rope between you. Brannick has 1 and Shimbao had 2.
okay, yeah, so would have been, yeah, I guess one of mine and one of Bows then up top. Remove that so I don't.
Well, technically, I had the one hemp on me. I had the one silk on me, and I also had the climber's kit, which comes with rope also.
It does not.
Okay,
The climber's kit is the equipment you need to like add to the rope.
then we are out of rope. You're correct.
We had a lot of rope, and we used all of it.
Well, I feel like we lost some with Drew dropping also.
Hopefully there's some other way out of here.
Leave the rope hanging there. And that way.
If we need it, we'll have to come back for it. That's all.
Yeah, pretty much. The only issue is that if we pull the rope down here, we won't be able to get back up unless there's another way out. And right now, I'm not so sure. It's like all this place is kind of going deeper and deeper and kind of under ice.
Well, we'll have to make that decision when we get to the next bridge, so to speak. For now, we're good. If we want to drop one more level, we'll have to consider our options.
So y'all are basically coming in where that little orange circle is. Up above that is the hole to the level up above you. And then again, you are inside of this room. 2 doors lead away from it, one to the east, one to the north. There are 2 cages that are kind of like shattered, not necessarily like shattered and destroyed, but certainly heavily damaged, as well as another hole in the floor and into the ice to the west of that hole.
Yeah. So once Brannick and then once Jin Bao get down, and these two doors are also both closed, right?
Yeah.
So Brannick will suggest we, maybe start with the northern one, or what seems northern to him, since the direction's all turned around. And he would just, I guess, try and go ahead and push it open, like he'd seen Jin Bao doing with the other doors.
So you are going to see a room with a upside down table, some more kind of like books kind of scattered about. There is a fireplace along the northern wall, and it's kind of upside down and goes about like halfway down the wall, before you can kind of see like that was the more natural height of the fireplace. From initially opening the door, you can see that there is another door to the west, but upon investigating a little bit closer, you'll see that there is also another door to the east.
Okay, and I'm assuming it took us well over 10 minutes to get down here, right? So his comprehend languages would have. Oh no, it lasts for an hour.
It's an
Sorry.
hour, yeah, so I think you probably have pretty easily like maybe like 20 to 30 minutes left. If we go on the idea that there's just like those 6 or 7 books, you can pick up that 2 of them seem to be of interest. One of them is Ajamar's Guide to the Fantastic, and it's kind of like a light-hearted treatise on illusion magic. And you can kind of see that it's almost like a school child kind of level of a book, kind of teaching you the importance of basic illusory. And it's then the other one is the Unfettered Mind, and it's kind of like complete stark opposite, almost like a lunatic kind of a discussion of how one might exist without a body, kind of like a brain in a vat, and potential like ways to preserve consciousness by removing the body from the equation, and ways that you might be able to preserve it in different fluids. And that one's filled with sketches of brains in jars.
Yeah, so Brannick would definitely go ahead and grab the unfettered mind. Um, and then he might. I mean, he would. I guess he would grab both. He would offer Valixis the. He wanted to, not that he can read it right now, but he would um, tell him about the Ajamar's Guide to the Fantastic, and um, yeah, and then kind of wait for the once he's taken a look at those two, look towards the others. Uh, what do you think? West or east, south?
Like I said, I always go left first.
Yep, it is. And Felicius does accepts the book. Uh, for now, she kind of just tucks it away. You said it was the book of shoot. Which book was it?
Ajamar's Guide to the Fantastic.
Okay, Asmar's Guide to the Fantastic. Is that a wait? Am I able to add that as an item to an inventory? Or just
Some item if you're good at it.
Yeah, for now.
okay.
There's also just a book that you can add, and then you can like customize the name if you want to do it that way.
Yeah, effectively, this is all these things are. So, going to the west, Jimbao is going to open the western door.
Yeah.
I'm going to see another room that seems to have like chairs and a desk kind of shattered across the ground, but otherwise seems to be um, a just kind of small room, kind of left ignored.
Maybe take a quick look just through kind of like the wreckage, just to see if there's anything of interest. Not expecting to find anything, but
So you're going to go inside and take a look. Roll a perception check for me.
And I will be looking for a rope.
You're not going to find any rope. You are going to notice that the moment Brennick steps inside of that room, his footsteps are no longer making any noise.
Hmm.
do they sound normal to Brannick?
Oh, your perception is such shit, you're not going to notice. A nat 1, you're definitely not going to notice it. Even with a 2, it's not enough that I can say that you can simply notice what is happening right away.
I would call out to Brannick and tell him to hold up.
Brennick continues to search the room. He seems to be ignoring you.
Is there any way I can wave to him to get his attention, or has he got his back to me?
I mean, you can wait till he eventually looks your way, where he will eventually finish looking through that room, and maybe he'll get your attention, but he's not paying attention to you. He's looking through the room, investigating. He's doing anything but holding up.
All right, I'm gonna step into the. I'm gonna step into the room
And what are you going to do?
and see if I can talk to him.
You cannot. You make no sound. But you can certainly touch him.
So then I'll touch him on the shoulder.
Brennick, you will be startled by the fact that Jimbao has kind of closed this like area to where you are in utter silence. And that's going to be the first thing that kind of brings you out of your little investigation of this room.
Yeah, so Brannick will kind of like, yeah, he'll like startle. He'll look up, kind of not kind of unsure look on his face, and then look towards Jin Bao. He'll try to again, he would just like instinctively try to say like, "What is it?"
You make no noise at all.
I'll clap,
Nothing.
so that should pretty much let him know.
Um, yeah, so Brannick will stand up and kind of he'll gesture back towards the through the door towards Felixis and start moving that way, trying to pantomime. Let's go.
Once you're aware of it, the moment you step through the door, you hear like the sound of your footsteps on the stone again.
And would Brannick have any idea of what might have caused that?
You could do an Arcana check. I think pretty much every wizard should have a pretty solid understanding. Yeah, that's a permanent casting of the silent spell. You probably have an understanding that a lot of wizard academies even have rooms like this designed for reading. And from the fact that there's a desk and like a chair in that room, it's probably simply meant for study.
Okay, I did. I mean, I kind of assumed it was probably a silent spell. I didn't want to assume that he would know, although I don't.
Yeah, well, that's part of where I say like most wizards should understand that the way to shut down a wizard or to be shut down as a wizard is often as simple as casting silence.
Right. Okay. So once they're back outside and they can kind of speak, Brannick would share his suspicions. So Felix has probably knew that as well, or had the same idea, but he would kind of let Jin Bao know that he thinks that's probably what that was.
Did you want to go back in and finish searching?
I imagine I had enough time in there. I would have found anything of any use.
Yeah, you didn't find anything. There's nothing really in that room. It's simply just a silent spell.
Yeah, I figure like Brannick would think that he searched very thoroughly, even though I know he rolled a 2.
So eventually, when you get back to that room, you will spot that there's kind of a similar sign of this one is a spiral staircase. It seems to kind of like be leading down into the floor. And kind of is like crushed off in rubble. And you can see kind of the same thing where I think by now, having traveled through like that section of ice between the first level and the second level, you have a pretty solid understanding that this tower actually like cracked into different pieces as it was like kind of speared into the ground. And these sections are cut off, like the stairwells are cut off largely because of this effect of whatever like speared it into the earth has effectively also like cut off the actual like viability of these stairwells. But this is the stairwell up to the next level, which is down below you.
So we could basically move down from either stairwell.
No, my point was is that these are cut off, but this stairwell was the stair up, but it's leading down into the earth. The other
Gotcha.
stairwell was the stair down, and it is leading up into the ceiling.
Both are unusable.
Yeah, that was my point in saying that there's like gaps where this tower has split apart. Because you guys basically passed through about 20 feet of ice before you kind of fell back into this place from the floor.
So effectively, there's no other way to proceed unless it's back the way we came.
Well, there's that hole leading down again, I believe.
Yep, between those two crash cages, there's another hole into the floor or ceiling.
Uh, well, we got no rope, so we can either.
We can just pull that rope down and use that one. And like before, we could just try to figure another way out later on. Or unless y'all want to try and go ahead and head out now. But
How wide is the hole?
I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be basically a 5-foot radius.
So with the climbing gear, it would be possible to scale it without rope.
You could certainly try.
Well, our only choice is to either go back up or go get the rope and continue downward. I'm going to venture to say that we're going to try to. I'm going to try to climb back up and get the rope.
if you do, you might have to get the rope left back at the entrance and use this one to climb back down, and then use the rope that you retrieved to go down this hole.
Well, either way, we're going to have to climb a section of the either in the ice or in the hole with a 5 foot, and it's a stone hole. I take it, not an ice hole.
It's through the stone in this room. But just like the other part, it is through ice.
I think I'd go back to where we tied the last section of rope off and untie it. Or
Gotcha. So do a strength check to climb up the rope. Or even athletics. Yeah, that's good. So you can climb your way back up to the next level and effectively untie your rope, and you can basically do the same of an athletics to climb back down.
I have slow fall, so
And you can certainly jump down as well.
I will just jump. And then I guess the same thing. Lower Alexis down first.
Yes, Felix, perhaps give 2 tugs on the rope if everything looks clear. That way you don't have to shout out. Shout up.
Shut up. Well, do.
Three quick tugs if you need it to be pulled up.
All right. So tug twice if everything's okay, and 3 times if not.
17 tugs if you need a little ration. So they can lower you down from there to the next level, where you are going to see. I kind of revealed that a little bit incorrectly. A large room that kind of like curves around to the side. You will see a door kind of immediately south and east of you, where you kind of come down in the center area. I have to let go of Alt to draw the circle for you. Kind of coming down from that area. And you will see another hole in the ground just a little bit northwest of you, a hole in the wall immediately west of that, and otherwise a few kind of upside down bookcases and other rubble and kind of like broken glass.
Okay, so Valixis walks around and gives a quick look through the room. Um, before she actually, but then she tugs on the rope twice after undoing the rope from around her.
Yeah, so she would technically have the harness on again. You remove the harness, give 2 tugs, pull up the harness, put it on Brannick, and then repeat the process.
Valixis moves out the way to make sure that there's the room. Yada come down.
Another strength check.
I think Valixis only weighs 30 pounds. I don't think you can really fail to lower Valixis.
I was
When
talking
you go to
about.
lower Brennick.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yep, so you're able to lower Brennick without any sort of problem. And you'll see a pretty similar situation as you are lowered into. Oh, what did I do? Did I drop the whole group on there instead of the single this time? Yeah, it looks like I did.
I could see the map. I just
No, yeah, I meant to just drop Rashad on it like I did last time, and I was gonna drag you, and I think I have all of you on level 3 already.
oh, okay. Yeah.
And once again, was there a spot I could tie the rope off before ascending the hole?
Roll a perception check. So when you're kind of like looking around this room, you're gonna see the 2 different cages, one of which has like an actual like skeleton still inside of it. And they're probably the only things that you could really tie it to. You certainly risk dragging either one of those cages on top of the hole and basically blocking yourselves into it if you were to tie it off to them.
Well, if I tie it off, can I yank on it to see what kind of stability it has?
Most certainly.
So I'll attempt to tie it off and then, yank on it as hard as I can to see whether it's going to stay on the ceiling or not, or the floor.
Gotcha. Roll a strength check. Which one are you tying it to? The north one, south one?
Whatever's closest to the hole. I don't know.
All right, the one like northwest of it.
That would be.
You pull on it and it budges a little bit, but it doesn't seem too mobile.
Well, I'll attach it and then jump down to avoid putting any weight on it.
So you can land down with the other 2 in this lower room. What would you all like to do?
So these like bookcases and the wood. What kind of shape is this wood in? Like, is it pretty rotted? To look like it's uh might actually be able to, if we tried to fashion, if we ran out of other things, like be able to try and fashion some sort of crude um not ladder exactly, but like
I
He's just trying to
don't
like.
know enough about what happens to different lumber in Arctic conditions. But while I think there are certainly signs of the age of these things, I think the wood is in better condition than not, because I'm pretty sure anything that decomposes wood cannot survive in these temperatures. So I'm pretty sure there's a pretty solid idea that this wood is in far better condition than not. Whether you can construct structures to get yourselves out of here is a completely different situation.
Yeah, I'm essentially just looking for anything that if we run out of all other options might be able to. So just want to try and get a sense. And yeah, I imagine it's mostly moisture that would do the wood in. And I guess maybe given how cold it is, maybe the air is dry enough that it's not really
Well, and I
affected like
think
that.
part of the moisture is also that usually it's moisture and touching the ground where it picks up bacteria. Um, that is my understanding of how you decompose wood, and part of why like treated lumber is the lumber that you put like touching the ground, and that'll last like 4 to 5 times as long as like untreated lumber. Or particular kinds of wood are more resistant, and part of that is basically that like the bacteria and myceliums can never take hold, but life always requires water, and this place is in a permanent freeze. So I don't think, aside from magically consuming the wood, I don't think there's any reason to assume this wood is anything less than like pretty much like stable.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if we'll actually be able to use it, but yeah, so I guess you said there's a door to our southeast here.
Yep, one kind of southeast. Yep. You have a pretty solid reasoning, and if you go there to open it, you're gonna find that spiral staircase that you guys expected from the floor above. And it's kind of that same situation where you can see where the tower is kind of split, um, and doesn't really like have continuity between the staircase.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, Brannick would let the others know kind of not much over there. Not gonna be able to get back up that way.
I feel like with each of these, like I think with the first way down, you could almost gain a sense that you moved like 10 feet west. Like the tower is kind of like shuttered almost 10 feet west. And then the second tunnel that you go down, I feel like you kind of get a sense that you do like another, like kind of 5 feet west and maybe 5 feet south. And then like if you look down like the next tunnel that's like or above Jinbao where he is right now, I think you have a sense of that one goes a little bit to the east, like 10 feet, and south 5 feet. So all of these kind of show signs, what I would say signs, that like the tower has kind of like split and moved in the ice, or moved since it crashed through here. None of them were like just explicitly like vertical tunnels. It's part of what I was getting at.
Gotcha. Okay. And this hole to our west, does it look pretty
Roll a
much like?
perception. So with that one, I feel like you can kind of see that that wall was like crushed in, that perhaps someone before you um might have noticed that there was some sort of hidden area behind that wall, and they basically collapsed the wall in.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like if it looks like it was just like naturally kind of crumbled, or maybe it had some help. So Yeah, so Brennick will suggest to the others, maybe presumably whoever broke it in probably took anything useful in there, but perhaps we should just take a look just to be thorough.
We're gonna have to hop over the hole.
Yeah, I think all that ends up being is just let me get dexterity, acrobatics from you all, and you're just basically don't roll one. So you can hop in Jimbao, and you're basically going to see like across the actual floor. There's not much in here. What you can tell is in here seems to be the wall from where it was actually crushed in. Oh, my bad. It also looks like Brannick jumped in as well. So you kind of confirm that same thing. Looking up, you all can see that this room has objects up above you. Let me have each of you roll a religion for me.
The entirety of my roll 20 screen just went blank.
If roll 20 went blank, just try giving it a reload. And you can come back in a second.
There we go.
So Brennick, you can see above you the symbol on this altar that's kind of hanging down from the floor is the sign of Mistral. This is the first incarnation or avatar of Mistra, the goddess of magic. And you are effectively inside of a shrine to the god of the weave.
So Brennick will definitely find that interesting, not being a particularly devout person, but he'll call for Alexis to come take a look if she'd like. Aside from the symbol on the altar, is there uh, any items or anything up near the altar that look like they could be of use to us, or is it mostly just the altar itself?
Uh, Felix stays. I don't. She doesn't think she's gonna make it if she were to try to jump across the hole.
From where you're at, like you can't really see anything else about the altar. If you had like a way to fly up to it or something, you might be able to investigate closer. But looking at it from the ceiling, there's not really much else to pick up.
Okay. I haven't really been asking, but what's the lighting situation as we've been getting deeper and deeper? Is it still lit up by
This
sconces?
whole place is filled with those sconces, and all of them are burning continual flames, and all of them are effectively probably about like 10 feet over your head or 10 feet over the floor to you, approximately like say 3 feet over the head of like a human if they were standing on the ceiling. But all of those sconces are effectively like relatively that same height, which is what, let's say 5 feet over your head. And they're all burning down towards your feet.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, Brennick is wishing he had some way to magically fly, but he not.
Oh, Alexis kind of just asks, "What is it that y'all see? Like, what's? Are there any? Is there any like interesting artifacts in there?"
Looks like an altar to Mistral.
Oh,
I
Jesus. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, if I recall my religious lore correctly, an older avatar of Mistra.
Melissa kind of like says, "Oh," and she just claps her hands and says, "Thank you for the magic." And sh- she just kind of asks if there's anything, if he's able to get to the artifacts or anything, or if there's anything that because she wants like, I guess, to inspect something, but she can't get across the hole.
Well, from where I'm standing, I can't really make out anything other than the altar itself, but fortunately, there's no real way for me to get up there. But again, I imagine probably if there was anything in here before, whoever broke that wall down's probably made off with it some time ago.
Okay, okay. Well, I could cast fly on you, but I feel like we might need that in an emergency.
Yes, I might be best to save that for a more urgent circumstance. I suppose if you wanted to take a look yourself, we could try and rip off a few of those planks from the bookcase and just make a rather rough walkway over it. Find any long enough pieces.
That might work. I mean, I don't think I would be too heavy to walk across it. Um, I'll probably just look in the other room for now.
So Brannick would move to leap back over the other side.
Are you waiting for them to get back before you open that door, Felixus, or are you opening it like right away?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was opening it right away.
Want me to move back?
Yep. So, Felixus, as you open that door, you're going to see um a room that seems rather kind of put back together. Everything is still on the actual ground. You see like a desk and some kind of books stacked up on the desk, as well as a chair. And on the west side of this room, you are going to see a young human male, as well as a dead creature of sorts standing at his side. And this human is kind of bundled up in cold weather gear.
Oh my goodness. She kind of calls out to the guy and asks if he's all right. She approaches him slowly.
Oh, dear me. You have words, aren't you, the cutest little creature? What's your name, friend?
Melissa doesn't know how to take that, but she does kind of like blush a little bit. And she says, and she does introduce herself. She says her name. She introduces herself to the guy. My name is Valixis. I am a wizard. Um, how long have you been down here?
It's gonna look over to the dead creature and after a few moments kind of like look back to you. Time moves slowly. Um, maybe a 10-day. Maybe a 10-day. How long have you been down here?
Oh dear God. I'm sorry. Did you say time moves slowly in here, or did I mishear that?
It does indeed. Yes.
Nah, shit. She kind of dashes out, back out the door. I apologize real quick. One
Wait,
moment.
don't go. Stay. Wait.
She kind of stops at the door. What's up? What's wrong?
I need your assistance. Please don't leave.
What did you need my assistance with?
I lack a certain je ne sais quoi, and I think you might possess what it is that I need. And please don't go anywhere. Just stay with my friend and myself, and perhaps we can be mutually beneficial.
I'm not understanding. What do you mean? I might have what you need. What is it exactly you need? I may need a little bit more detail.
If I'm correct, you're alive. You have a soul.
Uh, no. I'm no. I don't. She kind of
Make a
slowly
deception check. So by now, I don't see any reason why Brennick and or Jinbao haven't tried to leave that room.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I am. She is slowly trying to back out the door.
But no, nothing will come to harm. You are perfectly safe. I'm lacking. And this place turns illusion into reality. Please, don't go.
Are you saying you need food, or are you trying to, or do you need
I
healing?
don't have to eat. I would like to become real, in which case I would then need food. I'm just not sure, and he's going to look up to the dead creature. I don't know when I would have to eat, but I'm sure I would have to eat at some point soon afterwards.
She kind of sticks her hand out the door and tries to wait for Brennick and Jimbo to hurry up and get in here because she is panicking. I'm not sure if I could help you with the soul per se.
Oh, I know you can. I know that you have what it takes. We just need that spark of life within you.
Can I hear any of this going on?
Yeah, there's no reason you guys have not walked up to that door.
Okay, yeah,
It's
it
not a
wasn't far
loud
either.
conversation. Like you're not like missing a lot of this because you guys were already headed out by the time Valixis was moving over there. And it's not a loud conversation, but it's also not like being like secretly or whispered. When he sees the actual humans, you're going to see a much bigger smile cross his face. And oh, delightful! That's even better. I was worried that the kobold was my only chance. Ah, my name is Dazan. And he's going to stand up and kind of bow low, where his hat starts to kind of like fall from his head before he catches it. And this here is my guardian, Krentas. I'm delighted to meet you all. And he's going to reach out his right hand to shake hands with you.
Alexis does not want to shake his hand. She kind of just, she's still in a bit of a panic mode from when he told her I need a soul, so she's kind of wary of him now.
You said you weren't alive. What manner of creature are you?
I Snow.
Yeah, that that doesn't say much. And also, but I think we may have another issue as well. Aside from him, he said that time moves differently in here, and he said he's been down here. I guess he said for a 10 day.
Ah, yes, probably. It's hard to tell when you can't see any changes in the moon. Or, for that matter, none of us have seen the sun for some time, but when you cannot see the changing of the day being underground, it's difficult to say one day from the next.
Zon, how did you come to be down here? Wait,
I came here with my creator, and he left me behind with our friend Kuntas here. He's stayed as my guardian. I think 10 days ago, perhaps. We have been here attempting to continue the research and to figure out more and more of what this tower was meant to do, and I'm reasonably sure it can turn the illusion of my life into a reality.
and who is your creator?
Zan.
And you are Dazan as well.
Indeed, yes, Zan. And he's going to reach out his hand to shake your hand again.
Brian's gonna kind of like he's gonna not extend his hand, but he's gonna kind of like nod, like in a greeting. Um, does he
I
have?
mean you no harm, friends. You must understand you might be the salvation to all of my problems. I cannot activate this structure, but you are alive. You have the spark of life. You can activate it for me.
Would that involve giving up that sparkle? Like I'm rather
No, no,
attached to
no,
myself.
no, no, please. Oh, I am. Oh. And he's going to look back over to Vlixis. That makes so much more sense. No, you're in no danger. It's a failsafe. I can't activate it because I am a creation of the weave. You are alive. You are meant to control these things. Crintus, my friend here, could activate it, but alas, he has been dead for 300 years. And you'll see as the dead creature just kind of like nods to him.
You say activate the structure. What is its purpose?
To turn illusions into reality.
Do you know how it came to be here?
Oh, yes, of course. This is, one of the spires of the city Yethrin. And it was perhaps impaled here, or maybe fell off of the city when it was crashing. It's a little more difficult to tell, but it's at least well enough understood that this was one of the wizard towers of a city that crashed in the glacier. But he's just gonna kind of like raise his hands out, and as he kind of like looks around at the structure, like, welcome to the lost spire of the Nether.
Okay.
Yethrin. Now that makes a bit more sense. Brian's thinking back to what the halfling had or medium, I guess, had channeled from the white witch, white lady, lost
Yeah,
lady. Yeah.
the white lady.
Because I think it had mentioned Yethrin, but I didn't recognize the name. But now that he mentioned that city, it kind of sparks a um, spark, sparks a remembrance in Brannick. But go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I mean, that was effectively what he was saying. So,
And so a thought occurs to Felicitas. Hey, you said this tower is used to bring illusions to reality. And she kind of glances at Brandon. Could someone have used this tower to make it eternal, the land eternally iced, by turning a illusion of it being eternally ice and snow to reality and using that to block out the sun or permanently get rid of the sun as well?
perhaps if any of the Netheries or any of their cities were still flying, they would have such powers. But as I understand, I think the weave has been a little bit more removed from how close it once was. I don't think I don't think even they would have that power any longer. But this tower itself, it's a much more localized effect than perhaps to be that powerful. The methods by which Aro freezes this place is perhaps simply for a god, and not for mortals to understand.
And are they? Are there? It's a particular type of illusion that this activation would turn real.
I must admit, while I understand vaguely what the tower is meant to do, I don't have the spark of life. Can't test it. But you could. You could bring me life.
And if we were to agree to try to assist you with this, how would we activate it?
The rune chamber is below us. I believe it is simply your touch that will activate the entire system. I would only need to climb into the proximity of the disc by which it activates, a bit of a altar of sorts almost. And I think a simple touch of life is all it would take for it to complete its. And I'll kind of like look around and think perhaps more myself lacks the ability to kind of like express. He's almost like thinking of it as like it's the programmed effect of this tower. Um, it's not like you have to cast the spell. It's almost just like allowing it to do what it's always been meant to do. It would be like the Aristotelian like sense of like teleology. It's something's like final cause, its whole reason to be.
And if we activated and you were to gain this life, do you have any particular plans? I imagine if you want to be alive, you must have given some thought as to what you do for that to occur. Do you think you would be able
I
to?
Go ahead. My bad.
Do you think you would be able to control the tower yourself if this were to work? Spire, I should say.
I believe, yes, if I were created flesh and blood, I think yes. I don't have my spell book, but I have the same desires as my master. I think I would like to continue, and if I can find a Zan, work with him. If I am unable to reunite, I am sure once I procure a new spell book and finish recreating the magic that I do know, I should want to continue on looking for Yithrin. It is my reason to be.
Would you have any idea where you left your spell book? We may be able to retrieve that for you if we can't grant you life and get you to turn from an illusion. We
You're
might.
gonna need to roll another deception check.
Oh wait, deception for returning his book to him.
Deception for how greedy a wizard would talk about finding another wizard spellbook. You're trying not to drool as you even mention another wizard spellbook.
Oh, because I was actually going to return it. Give me a second. Where is it? You said deception.
You can roll a performance check then, but you're still gonna need a roll to mention another wizard spellbook. Oh, I'm sure Dazan still has it. I never lost it. I'm his creation. And kind of like looking off to kind of like up towards like the ceiling, you can see he's kind of like racking his brain. I I'm a simulacrum, and I hope to become real.
Would you happen to know how much farther down this rune chamber is? Great, we
Oh, it's the next level down. It's only about 40 or 50 feet below us.
and if we were to help you, what might we expect out of the exchange?
I could certainly share any knowledge that I might have with you. I can. I don't have much. I could give you the remaining books the Dazan left behind. And, in this. And he's going to pull out a little amulet that's just kind of got like a red piece of like old stained wood kind of in the center. And there's like a silver ring around the outside of it. And he'll kind of like hold it up and he'll just say, I would give you what I have. I need very little to start to recreate my book. But other than that, I would be in your debt. I cannot leave this place until Dazan returns, or until I am Dazan. I need to be flesh and blood. or I must remain here.
If you become flesh and blood and you are Dasan, what becomes of the real Dasan?
Oh, it doesn't affect his reality at all. Only me. I am the illusion.
Has there been anyone down here before us? We noticed that one of the walls in the room outside seemed to have been broken through. But
To the altar of Mithril, yes, of course. Dazan was down here with quite a few of the hirelings that he used to locate and transfer many of the goods away from this place. Everything he found most valuable.
I see.
If he could take it out of here, and it was of value, it is with my master now.
Do you have any idea where he might have gone?
We kind of looks back over to Quintus. East Haven, sir. We were primarily starting our search from East Haven. We were relatively sure that the spire was here on the west side of 10 Towns. Let me get an intelligence roll from you.
I have my suspicions, but I don't know if Brannick has them.
I feel like you probably know. What is your suspicion as Justin?
That Dizan is the wizard that got burned at the stake in East Haven.
Yes, indeed. You guys have last heard his name probably from the captain of the guards in East Haven, but that was among the people that Devessa mentioned why you should go to East Haven, was to figure out what that wizard was up to. And between the two of them, they were the last ones before meeting this Dazan who mentioned that name.
Oh, okay. I don't. I actually didn't recall the wizard, the captain, actually giving us the name, but maybe he did, and I just forgot.
But that could have just been my own perspective of it. I felt like when you all dropped that name, it might have just been mentioning that you came from Devessa, but whatever it is, I don't think it's a stretch for Brennick to remember that Devessa had named the actual wizard.
Gotcha. Okay.
But you guys can rest assured that everything of value from this place probably burned with Dazan. Because he didn't leave it with this guy.
If this is religious as well, that's all she says. Is,
Well, if kind of talking quietly back towards Felixis and Jinbao, um, it is a simulacrum of Dizan. Perhaps it seems like he's saying he has the same patient Dizan might have had. Perhaps we should consider activating this tower.
very well.
Sounds reasonable.
So, how do you suggest we get down to the next level?
Well, I would like to try to climb back up just using the miner's pick or the ice pick and not put any weight on the rope.
How are you going to get to the ceiling? It's 18 feet above, so it's like 13 feet over your head.
I guess that's out. Is there any way to drag one of the bookcases over?
You can certainly try.
How high up are they?
I think realistically, once you go to try to move them, you're going to find that they are attached to the wall. That's the only reason they didn't crash when this place was flipped upside down.
How big is this Crintus?
So when you let me get a medicine check from you. I feel like that was probably a poor call of a choice. Um, I don't think Crintus has a physical form so much as he is a undead.
Oh, it's more like a spectral or spirit kind of creature.
I might be a little bit wrong on that, actually. Give me a second here. I should have looked at this earlier. Didn't even cross my mind, and I wonder if I simply assumed incorrectly when I was thinking about it.
And so Jinbao, essentially Brennix, wondering like if Crintus is like a, you know, tall enough, you know, being, or because I guess I was thinking more almost like a like when you said guardian, I in my head like shield guardian or golem kind of thing. So like maybe it's tall, if it was tall enough to lift you so that you could reach the ceiling. So my kind of where I was initially getting with that idea.
Yeah, and the cage that it's tied to seems solid enough, but I was thinking about erring on the side of caution just in case. Maybe we send Valixis up first because she's the lightest.
So just essentially you want to go up and reclaim that rope, right, to use on the next way down.
Yeah, but then she's gonna have to. I'd have to use slow fall to jump down. She wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, I think for what it's worth, I think it's just a rather normal humanoid.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let me see. Let's see what I have in my arsenal. Don't think I have much I can use. I don't think I have much I can use. Let me
You
take a
don't
look.
have any rope by any chance, do you, Dasan?
No, he effectively doesn't have equipment.
Alexis, you said you can cast fly on yourself though, right?
Oh yeah, I could cast fly. Let's see. Yeah, I can use fly.
Assuming we indeed only have to go one more level down.
I think I'd rather chance the weight of the rope and save the spell as an emergency.
That might be wise now that you mention it.
Because she could go back up to the beginning and get that rope if she had to.
Well, if it's true that activating this thing might allow illusions to become real, it's might even be able to manufacture our own. Have some small skill in illusions myself. Don't know if that's what is meant, but
I believe if you made an illusory rope and activated the, I believe that would create a real rope, yes.
And then we should at least have a way to get back up. If you can, Al, if you were able to get you back to the ceiling, climb up with the rope.
Well, the rope should be hanging down past the floor, past the entrance. Or did the rope just dangle down to the edge of the hole and we drop the rest of the way?
I mean, as far as things go, depending on how much slack you kind of left in the knot, I do not think you're using up like over 10 feet of rope to tie it. I think that rope is easily within reach. It was that you were saying you were not putting weight on it.
Well, I was trying to avoid it, but I
Yeah,
guess
trying to get to the tunnel up above you is a completely different story than climbing the rope that is in front of you.
yeah, I was thinking worst case scenario, but I guess the best course of action is to try to use the rope to climb back up.
So if that is the plan, you can make a strength check here.
I guess Brannick would let Izan know that we'll take a look and see what we find down there.
Let me have the three of you roll d6s. So as you pull on it, Jimbao, and start to climb up, you hear like with each time you're kind of like pulling your weight up, you're hearing like little slides from it, and you can see as it kind of slides about like halfway over the hole. But by the time you actually get to the ceiling where you're like now inside of the tunnel, it's enough that you can make it out. But it certainly moved the cage near to on top of the hole.
Hmm. Uh, is there? Am I far enough to attempt to let go of the rope and sink the pickaxe in?
What are you getting at?
Uh, well, I was trying to see if
Describe it further. I'm looking for more information. Then
I'm
what
gonna
are you sinking the pickaxe into?
into the side of the hole.
No, that was my point. You shifted the cage getting up to the ceiling. But once you make it into the tunnel, you can climb up without any problem. So we're already past that. If you're trying to get up to the next level, you are
Oh,
there.
okay. Then
My point was is if two of you had rolled ones there, you would have locked yourself off from being able to get back up.
gotcha. So I'll continue up, untie the rope, and then slow fall down again.
Gotcha.
The Assuming this hole is about the same length, we could try and tie the end onto one of these bookshelves. They seem to be fairly attached. If there's some way to do that, we'd probably lose some of the distance, so you might have to drop some ways. But unless there's something else to secure it to.
Well, I think we just repeat the process of put the. Well, it's up to you. I could go down first, or we could send Velixis down like we did last time with the climbing harness.
I wouldn't mind going down first again.
Okay, we'll strap her in and lower her down.
Before you There's a creature down there. It's... How good are you, without your eyes?
Felix just kind of turns to him, and you didn't mention this first. Why?
I told you before you climbed down.
Fair enough. What are we doing with?
Well, without my eyes, I can't see.
It
Do you mean
might be best if you go down there not able to see.
I'm confused. What do you mean?
And together.
something something that disturbing to look at? That's what you're getting at.
Is turning into stone disturbing to you?
I'd prefer not to.
Yes, then yes, something that disturbing to look at is down there.
And won't it attack us?
Oh yes, precisely. That's why you should go together as well.
Uh,
Just one after the other and attack anything that's making noise. If at all possible, not each other. And the thing that is trying to turn you into stone.
that's a pretty tall order.
Is there any way we could probably lure it up here through the hole first and try to attack it as it gets through the hole?
Or better yet, send your guardian down.
Yes, you see, we have strict instructions from Dazan, and that risk is not within those parameters.
This how big is this thing?
It's not large at all. It's probably about twice your size.
Like
You guys can make either history or animal handling checks. He describes a basilisk. It's a large lizard-type creature, Brennick, and effectively, the way to deal with this is you have to divert your eyes, and if it tries to make eye contact with you, it will begin to turn you into stone. So while you can certainly see it, seeing it is the danger. So explicitly trying to divert your eyes is kind of a key thing to this. If you hear something moving when you go down there, you do not want to look towards that movement, but it is good to attack in that direction.
yeah, so Brennick will share what he thinks they're he's describing with them, and as long as we can hear it, I imagine Alexis and I can at least get something in its general vicinity that should hopefully hurt it, kill it.
I'll attempt to tear off some of my cloak and create a blindfold for me.
You don't have to blind yourself, you just shouldn't look at it. Mechanically, it's the exact same thing, but if you actively blind yourself, you actually also actively take it off. Where effectively, mechanically, as long as you're not surprised by this thing, you guys always have the choice before you can be turned to stone to just look away. And it's just disadvantage on attacks when you look away.
Gotcha.
I'm wholeheartedly tempted to just shoot several fireballs down the hole and see if I can kill it like that. but I am also afraid I might destroy anything important.
No, we don't know. We don't know exactly where it is down there or how big that rune chamber might be. So
How
as long
big
as we,
is Dasan? How big is the chamber?
Oh, it's rather small, but this hole doesn't actually lead into the rune chamber. There's still a few rooms down below us here, and if the creature made it this far, it made it down that far, it uh, could be in any of them.
I mean, we know it's down there. We know to avert our eyes. I would suggest we go down there, and if we hear anything moving, we just unleash hell in its direction.
Okay, I guess we'd start. Put Velixis on the harness, and same thing. Her first, Brannick next.
Alrighty. But real quick, Brendan, you wouldn't happen to have a spell that could protect us from something like that, just in case, or know of any way other than looking away, just in case we do get caught by it.
If you get turned to stone, I'm afraid there's not much I'll be able to do for you, and nothing I'm aware of that will, aside from averting your gaze.
Very well. Go ahead and lower me down. And Velixis kind of closes her eyes as she's been lowered into her. She's more or less just listening as she gets closer and closer to the ground now.
Let me get you all to roll initiative.
In all the time that we have been in this campaign, I do not think I have ever rolled the lowest or low on an initiative. I think I've always hit first for initiative.
Yeah, you have rolled high.
Sorry, I just got to step away for 1 minute. I'll be right back.
All right, Velixis, as you are lowered into the room, you are going to hear the creature off to the northeast. What would you like to do? Starting your turn, are you diverting your eyes?
Uh, yeah, she had her eyes closed already, so she's just in case he was waiting at the bottom. Um, she does divert her eyes a little bit, like she looks down at the ground, so that she can still kind of see the shadow of the creature, but so she can try to notice which direction it's in, and she's basically just, I guess, gonna wait to see if it tries anything immediately.
All right, what does try anything mean to you? What is your trigger, and what are you holding? What are you waiting for?
Apologies. She has a fireball at the ready, and she's waiting to see if it jumps at her or launches an attack, or if it just stays back and just looks at her and tries to get me to make eye contact. But if he makes any kind of attack towards her, like if he gets closer, then she's going to release the fireball directly in his direction, um, judging it from where the shadow is on the ground, if she can see his shadow.
Doesn't work like that. If you have a trigger, you are casting fireball, and you are holding it for that trigger. If that trigger does not happen, the fireball dissipates, and that spell slot is gone. If you want to cast a fireball, cast a fireball. If you want to risk it, tell me what the trigger is. But it's a particular trigger. Like it lunging at you, it acting hostile. There's a lot of different things, but it's always a particular trigger.
Okay. I didn't understand that. Okay, then yeah, if it starts acting hostile towards her, she's going to release the fire. She's going to release the fireball's gonna release and hit him.
All right, roll your fireball.
I feel like something's missing from that roll aside from the damage.
Nope, that's all there.
Okay, I didn't know if it was okay. Yeah, all right.
So as your fireball is released, this creature is going to start like basically running towards you as soon as you kind of drop through the ceiling. As you release your fireball against this creature, it is going to explode throughout this room, pretty much destroying everything that is not stone inside of the room. The creature itself is going to be heavily singed and have plenty of like third degree burns across its flesh as the fireball like blasts entire like chunks of flesh from it. And it is going to lunge out and attack you. And it is going to deal. Damn, that's incredibly low for a crit. 14 piercing damage and another 9 poison damage to you as it bites into you. So you should have that 10 hit points from Lathander to start off your day. So I think for a total, you should take 13 damage there.
All right.
I think it's going to go right back around to Valixis here. I think Brannick and Jimbao are simply going to hear the explosion from below, and probably maybe some sign of the creature like closing the gap to Valixis and the sound of it biting down into Valixis.
She screams in pain.
Besides screaming, what are you going to do?
Does it still have its jaws in me?
Depends what you're going for. Is it still biting into you? Sure. Are you grappled? No.
Okay, if it's still biting into me and it has like if it has like a small gap that I can stick my hand into its mouth, then that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick my hand into its mouth and cast another fireball, and it's right into its throat.
Gotcha. Roll your fireball. Going to see as the creature's belly like expands and it's still like chomping down onto you. Brennick, from on top of this corridor, what are you doing?
So Brennick, hearing Valixis scream in pain and the whoosh of several fireballs, is going to looking towards Jinbao is like, can you pull him up? And then he's gonna kind of rush towards the hole and he's gonna shout like, Valixis, look out, and he's going to, keeping his eyes averted, not wanting to risk seeing the creature, is going to attempt to just launch a firebolt uh downwards, towards where he thinks the creature might be.
Without jumping down, I don't think you're going to have any ability to see it. I think it's completely obscured.
Gotcha.
When he says to look out for Lix's yell, that's kind of hard to do. He has his teeth in me.
Um, yeah, I think Brannick is just going to Yeah, I think he's gonna kind of eyes closed. He's gonna try and jump down and maybe try and take a bit of the sting out by kind of like going into like a kind of like a roll at the bottom, but
Gotcha. Roll 46. Roll a dexterity saving. You could do an acrobatics, I guess.
it's actually the same modifiers.
Yeah, so when you land, you're going to take 17 damage, but you're just going to kind of like land to your feet. You are not prone. Um, Eyes averted. What would you like to do? You will
Yeah, so
basically hear this coming from the south of you, but effectively, again, like you don't necessarily. The mechanics of the game don't operate like in a different way. Blind versus just like hearing where it is.
yeah, so trying to like giving my best guess is where I think this creature is. I'm going to, now that I've dropped down, averting my gaze, going to launch. Yeah, just launch a firebolt, hoping to hit it.
Fire bolt.
Bolt, yes.
Gotcha. Attack at disadvantage. Solid hit. Doesn't even matter. Felixus, you literally did too little damage to kill it with that second fireball.
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. Say what now?
When he hit it, I said that the damage doesn't even matter because you did too little damage to get the kill with your second fireball. So effectively, in the moment of Brennick actually making the choice to assist you, it's going to explode in that fireball. Like that's where the hindsight of after a turn, because it all happens at the same time, Brennick making the choice to actually help is the difference of that thing exploding when you actually drop a fireball down its throat.
Oh, okay. So I just got Master Guts all over me now, right?
Oh yeah, that's probably a treat for a kobold.
Bruh. It's dead, I think. Covered in its guts.
And I helped.
So I forget, were we able to tie the rope off or not?
I think Velixus was on his way down with the climbing kit. Brannick just jumped down.
I do not think there's any reason to say that you guys can tie them off to those shelves.
Okay, so tie off the rope and then jump down with them.
Quick question: did any part of this basket survive, like the eyes or teeth?
Roll a perception check here, but you just put a fireball down its gullet, so I'm gonna say no. But if you roll high enough, perhaps. I'm gonna say no on that one.
Damn, I got guts all over me. I can't even take a tooth home.
I mean, you can collect the tooth, yeah.
Okay.
No soft tissue.
Okay, yeah. She takes one of his. She takes any teeth that she can find from the basket.
If you have like an empty vial, you could probably like scrape some guts off yourself into a little.
So I still don't think there's anything to tie the rope off to. Are you just jumping down with the rope at that point?
I thought there was a yeah. Ask Dasan. Can his what was his guardian's name? Was he corporal? You said.
Well, that's where the two of us will have to be together with the danger removed. I'm able to go down, and that's where I need to be for you to turn me human.
Well, I guess I got no choice than to take the rope with me. I mean, I got a grappling hook, so I could try to, later. But for now, I jump down.
Wait, don't jump down. You've got a grappling hook. That's different than tying it to something. You could probably wedge the grappling hook into a structure here and at least have, a way to have it stuck up here. It's not nearly as good as, like, trusting in a knot, but
Um, yeah, I guess if I can try to wedge something in somewhere in the bookcase or
I, I feel like the bookcase is like the worst of the things around you. You've got a stone wall to the west of that hole. You've got two different doorways to the east of the hole. Um, I feel like either of the doorways might be the better of them, but like I think the actual book structures are like the worst possible places to try to like get a grappling hook.
okay, I couldn't remember exactly what was up there because we're on the other screen now. So whatever seems to be the surest hold, I guess, would be the door jam west of the hold. I guess if that seems to be the best.
The door, each of the doors are to the east. You just want it like in the wall, or do you want it on like the north side of that wall or on the south side? Like the wall is what is west of the hole.
Um,
Part of why I think the doors are better is that you actually have an angle versus like the way that hole is right next to the hole in the wall. That grappling hook is basically going to be like at a 90-degree angle where it's not like hooked being pulled into anything. It's just kind of resting against that wall.
well, then I'll use the door then to the southeast.
Gotcha. Southeast. Excellent.
Quick question: how many of the teeth did I find? Was I able to retrieve?
You can have one. I'm sticking with the idea that like putting a fireball into the basilisk was not a way to collect basilisk afterwards.
Okay, so like one then.
So yeah, I'll secure the rope as best I can and jump down.
So at this point, you have a room pretty much devoid of all things, kind of splattered with a little bit of flesh here and there. What would y'all like to do? There's a door to the south. Oh, yeah, shit. Realistically, that door has burned away. There is nothing there.
Whoops.
Oh, I suppose we.
Let me get a Constitution saving throw from everybody.
Yeah, I guess 2 fireballs would probably suck all the oxygen out of that room.
Don't give the GM idea.
Yeah, so what'll that be? I think Dazan and Jinbao. Just gonna take 7 points of fire damage, effectively smoke inhalation. Yeah, I feel like damage is better than doing it as a um when you get tired. I can't even think of the word. My brain is fried right now.
Exhaustion.
Um yeah, exhaustion. I feel like exhaustion is the wrong mechanic for that, but it's kind of what it would be. Is it's just too long standing for like that immediately effect, but it's kind of that effect of yeah, that actually kind of works out better because one, I shouldn't have rolled for the undead creature at all. It doesn't have to breathe, and we're the two who have to climb down through the most recent effects of that fireball, kind of like transferring between these rooms. But to the south, you all have another hallway. There is a door to the east, probably pretty solid to understand that's where you're going to find a stairway, and 2 doors to the west. Um, yeah, Dazan can say it is the northwestern of the doors. That is the actual rune chamber.
Well, let's proceed.
Agreed.
Uh,
Opening
should,
the door.
well, I was going to say, should we check the door? I was going to say, check the door south of Brannock first.
Opening the door down there, Brennick.
Um, yeah, I guess we'll see what's down here.
So you all are going to see a corpse immediately to the south of you all, or not really a corpse, an actual skeleton. Um, you see a bunch of kind of wood scattered about, a bed and kind of like rotted clothing kind of smashed on the floor. And kind of see a cracked mirror along the southern wall, kind of taller than it is long, and probably comes about like halfway to the floor that you guys are standing on. And yeah, I feel like that's what you're kind of going to see in this area.
Take a quick minute to search the skeleton and the rest of the room.
Roll for initiative.
Hey, look at that. I'm not going first this time.
You jinxed yourself.
I'd say that's more of a blessing.
Reach into like the skeletal remains. You are going to feel a little burst of electricity, and you are going to take 10 points of lightning damage. And then So God doesn't make itself invisible. You're going to see as this little like wisp of light passes through the wall and seems to disappear. Brennick, what are you doing?
Do we see which wall it just appeared through?
Just through the north.
So Brennan's going to like yell back to Velixis, like, "Did you see it?" He's gonna try and move if he can past Velixis back out into the hallway.
So I think Velixis would have seen it pass through the next wall to the north. Effectively back into the room you all killed the basilisk in.
Okay, yeah, I did. I saw something go through the wall. It went to where the other room where we just came from is.
So Brennick would try to rush back. Doesn't know what this thing is, but he would move in.
As you close in on that corner, you don't see anything inside of that room. Velixis, we are in initiative. Stop moving.
My bad.
So as Brennick gets in here, he's like, "What else is down here?" Kind of towards uh, Dathan, and he's just going to, not seeing anything, he's gonna hold a firebolt for the first, essentially the first thing he sees that's not Elixis. As if he sees the, if he got a good enough sight of the thing as it fled him, if he sees that thing appear again, he'll loose his firebolt at it.
Gotcha. First sign of light, you're going to shoot a firebolt at, like the wisp of light.
Yeah, yeah. I guess he would move a little bit farther in.
Gotcha. What are you doing, Velixis?
She just follows through to try to see what it was and what it is we're chasing.
Jimbao, what are you doing?
I will move to rejoin the party. And take dodge.
Quintus is just going to look to Zan. Zan's going to look to you all and... What is it? What was that?
That's what we want to know.
Brannick, firebolt.
That'd be disadvantage, right?
Yes. 18 should hit Jinbao and is going to shock you with lightning again for 16 more points. And it's going to go back around to Brennick. Wait, did Jinbao just go down with that last 16?
No.
That red X is unconscious. Or dead. Usually dead, actually. Brennick, what are you doing?
So Brannick is going to, and it's disappeared again, right?
Yep, you basically saw it come through that wall, shock Jinbao, and disappear right back through the wall.
Yeah, so Brannick's gonna shout, "Sorry for disturbing your rest." He's gonna back away again, and he's just gonna hold another firebolt. keeping his eyes peeled for.
And then what is Velixis doing?
Okay, so what she's gonna do is she's gonna also move to the center, but she's gonna stand at the ready. Also, with because she doesn't recognize what the creature is, she's not sure if it's alive or dead. So yeah, she's gonna stand at the ready with a firebolt as well.
And then Jinbao?
I am going to. I'm going to dodge one more time.
Brennick, normal firebolt. And Velixis, normal firebolt.
Sorry, hit the damage first.
That is going to miss from Brennick. And then it is going to strike out at Jinbao again. This time an 8 will miss, and Velixis will miss. And then it is going to disappear through the wall again. This time I feel like, yeah, that's kind of same position on the wall, just kind of to the west of the room. And then back to Brennick. What are you doing?
I don't know
I
if
guess
this.
wait, I do kind of have Quintus and yeah, I think it makes sense that Dazan actually had his acid splash prepared. So one second, let me do his reaction. Yeah, it's gonna dodge and its saver suck. Um yeah, I think Dazan's gonna kind of hold the same thing. So then it'll go back to you, Brannick.
All right, so no idea if this could work, but Brannick is going to wants to try and this thing keeps flitting around, trying to get so trying to get a beat on it. So he's going to hold a mind spike, cast that at the wisp if he sees it appear.
And then Felix.
And he'll hold it at the normal second level.
She gets he gets a magic missile ready.
And then Jinbao.
I'm going to hold my attack for when it comes up and tries to zap me in the ass again.
Gotcha. What level are you casting magic missile at, Velixis?
Second.
So, Jinbao, you can make your attack. You got one attack. Let me get the Mind Spike from Brennick and roll the damage for 4d4, basically, from that magic missile, please. So 14 damage from the magic missile. Your attack will miss Jinbao, and then Brennick is a DC 15. Oh yeah, it's Fubar. So it is going to reach out and try to shock Jinbao. I believe a 15 is a hit. No, it's just below.
Yep, 16.
And I think it is just going to disappear into nothingness. Feel like the mind spike is an interesting thing for this to happen.
Yeah, like I said, I have no idea if it would work.
Because you can know while the target is on this. I think as it dies, you're going to recognize both that it is nowhere and it is on this plane of existence. Roll a wisdom check for me, Brennick, and you can add your arcana. Yeah, that is a malevolent spirit that is going to kind of re-coalesce onto the material plane, but is effectively dead right now. But it will always exist here in the spire.
Don't think it's gone for long. We should do what we came here for and get the hell out of here.
No argument from me.
And with that, or sorry, we're still on initiative.
Oh, no, that's it.
So as he says that, Brannick will start moving towards the northern door. And attempt to push it open.
So inside of this room, you are going to see the entirety of the room is scribed with runes. I think we're easily beyond the hour of your actual comprehend languages, so you can't really pick them up at this point. But I think there's a certain effective enough that you can recognize them as Larose, Larosan. It's kind of a weird thing. Like when the magic of that spell works, you understand everything. When it kind of wears off, it's all back to gibberish, and it's like you never understood any of those things. So it's a very weird kind of like amnesia-like spell almost, how it kind of sits on you. The ceiling has a kind of crystal disc that is mounted to the ceiling, and it has like similar runes kind of inscribed in kind of like almost triple helix kind of swirl that goes like from the outside to the inside of and like all kind of converge onto a small golden like crystal disc. It's 5 feet in diameter, but I feel like that's, yeah, I guess it's just really 1 point overhead in that room. But that's effectively the room before you.
Okay, so Brannick's gonna move inside.
When you move inside, there's going to be a figure that kind of like pops up, basically standing right in front of the disc, effectively right where you're at, like above your head. And the moment it kind of like coalesces like into the space, it is going to start to speak. Doing anything about it?
Um, Surprised, so I think instinctively I kind of like back away from the doorway a little bit. But if I can recognize that it looks like it's like starting to speak, I would probably just wait and see what it has to say. Maybe not that we're in combat, but essentially, yeah. It's kind of
You
waiting to see what it says.
roll an intelligence for me then. You have a distinct understanding that everything in this place is in Laros. If you wait for it to speak, you're not going to understand what it says. I think Brennick knows what he should do here. You need to cast Comprehend Languages.
Um, I can. Yeah, I'll start to do that. I can't, unfortunately. I don't have it prepared, so I can't cast it immediately.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, in that case, it is going to go through a little speech that takes it about 5 or 10 seconds. And by the time that it finishes, you're partway through casting the spell, and this thing is going to disappear.
I was gonna say, is if I had tried to cast like detect thoughts, is that anything that would have? I don't know if it's an
I
actual
don't
real
think it's
thing.
alive, so even if you tried, I don't think you have that ability.
Yeah, it has to. I think it has to be a living creature. Yeah,
Yeah, this
something with a
is much
mind, like a
more like,
brain. Yeah,
yeah, this is more like programmed illusion. I mean, that's realistically probably what it is. It's programmed illusion, or something like the talking mouth from an alchemist. I don't think that's something that you have any option besides just actually being able to hear it with comprehend languages.
gotcha. Okay.
But the two of you can roll insights at disadvantage, Jinbao and Brennick. I think that gives you enough to understand that it was like excited about what it was talking about. And that kind of tells you like it's probably a pretty straightforward process. Um, yeah, and I think Jinbao would kind of have that same sense where whatever this thing was talking about, it was like proud of it. Um, I think sticking with those same roles, you guys could recognize that was the wizard that you saw at that like entrance area where you slid into this place. Couldn't really figure out if that wizard is supposed to be everywhere holding every single one of the sconces. And I feel like it would be like that level of narcissism, but it really only mentions those statues at the beginning.
Yeah. So Brannick is kind of cursing himself a little bit because he wish he could know, would have known what was being said, and he realized he probably should have taken the time to cast it again before they kept cast that spell again. But can't do anything about it now unless we want to give him time to finish the ritual to possibly read. Well, he has to be touching the runes, I guess.
I don't mind. I mean, we're probably gonna need the knowledge anyway.
I believe, Hassan, you said you might know how it's activated, right? You just can't actually do it yourself. Sorry, actually, probably realistically, if I'm in the middle of a ritual, I'm probably not speaking at all. I'm just
Well, I would ask Hassan, did you hear or understand any of that?
Oh no, I don't speak his language. If we return again tomorrow, we could uh, listen to it again, but I don't have any sort of ability to understand such things.
Well, I don't plan on coming back tomorrow, so
So, I think the Zan is going to cast a spell. And as he kind of like pushes up with his toes, you're going to see as he just kind of like floats towards the ceiling. And when he gets close to the ceiling, he's going to kind of like catch himself and kind of turn upside down and balance on this little crystal disc. And you're going to see as the disc starts to glow and there's kind of a pillar of light. And I think all he needs to do. I'm kind of confused. I think he kind of will then kind of like jump off of the disc again, and he's going to land back on the floor. And the disc is still creating like that same like pillar of light that's basically like bathing him in kind of like a golden light. And he's just going to reach out a hand and just kind of ask one of you to touch his fingertip.
uh, if Brennick can. I think at this point he's going to break off his ritual casting, and he's going to. Is he able to create essentially like a rope and grappling hook with minor illusion or an illusion of one, or is that kind of considered two different things?
I think you could certainly do it, yes.
Okay, yeah. So he would do that, um, and then look towards the others. And should I go ahead?
He's just Dazan's gonna look towards you. One at a time. Please allow me. Please make me real again.
Brennick's gonna. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jindal.
no, I was going to ask, what do you mean again?
I mean, he's been asking you guys constantly, like since you met him, to make him real. He doesn't want Brennick to make a grappling hook and risk this thing only making one thing real.
Oh, gotcha.
I am a human being ad-libbing everything these guys say. Please, make me real. Save that for later.
Okay. I think Brannick misunderstood. He thought maybe it could do more than one thing at once, but he will dissipate the illusion as he starts to kind of get the sense of what he means. And then he'll kind of like with a deep breath, he'll reach out his hand towards Hassan.
Roll a D100 for me, please. So as you touch his fingertip, you're going to feel like an icy cold touch, kind of confirming that he is made out of snow. And you're going to feel as warmth starts to take form and his flesh takes on a little bit more color. Roll 2d12 for me. And you're going to see as he starts to smile, and you see as he kind of like grasps his hand together, looks down at his palm. Fantastic. Thank you, my friend. And he's going to reach out to hug you, Brannick.
Does Brennick get any sense of anything other than like gratitude as he comes to like hug me?
I mean, you can do an insight check. You like watching as this like soft golden glow kind of like goes into this creature as it like goes from this icy cold touch into like kind of a warmth, and you're seeing like the color go into him as the like golden light of this altar kind of dissipates. As far as you can tell, you've just saved this person's life. Seems like gratitude.
All right, so Brennick will kind of Brennick's not much of a hugger, but he'll reluctantly um let Desan, hug him. Glad it
So
worked.
he'll like hold you far longer than is already uncomfortable, and kind of like go through and like shake your hand like with two hands afterwards, and then he'll go for Jin Bao and try to do the same, and kind of like look around to you all, like kind of like thanking you all like over and over again, and he'll look back to you, Brennick, and after he kind of like shakes everybody and thanks everybody and say, now I thank you, try your creation. And as he says that to kind of like make your illusion again, he's going to start to pull out a few books and that amulet and kind of like hold them in his hands.
Yeah, so Brannick will go ahead and recreate the illusion. Thank you for the warning before, Desan. I didn't understand how this worked.
So I think as long as you have an illusion within the pillar above the disc, it's going to create that like golden little light, and then all you have to do is reach forward and touch it.
Yeah, so Brannick would kind of create the illusion, kind of like floating within, where that pillar appeared before, and then I guess similarly to what Desan had done before, like reach up like tippy toes and try and touch the disc.
Well, I had him like jump to the ceiling. He like cast levitate on himself. But that's where
Oh,
I
okay.
I feel like it's kind of unclear in the actual module how this thing is supposed to work, versus I feel like they didn't give any credit to how difficult it is to be able to operate on the ceiling and on the floor in a place with 18 to like 30-foot ceilings.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess Brannick could try. Doesn't know if it'll work since it's not his physical touch, but he could try doing it with his mage hand, activating
The
it
mage
that
hand
way.
is not going to do it. Nope. You'll very quickly find out that's precisely kind of what he was getting at, where it's like, oh, okay. So that's one level of, even though the mage hand is related to my spark of life, it is not the same thing as the actual spark of my touch.
Gotcha.
But I mean, that's a good thing to learn. Like, that's precisely kind of like confirming he was telling you the truth when he, saw a living creature and he was like amazed because that was his, salvation right there.
Well, we should be on our way before that creature returns.
So wait, did you touch the actual grappling hook though in the rope?
I don't think I'm able to reach the pillar though.
That's kind of what I was meaning, where I feel like there's a certain level of you can create it on the ground. I think as long as it's in that pillar of light above, which is technically now below the golden disc. That's kind of what
Oh,
I was getting
okay.
at, because if Dazan is standing on the ceiling to activate the disc, you guys can't touch him and he's fucked. So I like the idea that he can stand on the actual floor, like on the ceiling, and touch you like that.
Gotcha. Okay, no, I thought it like disappeared after it transformed him. But if the pillar is still there, then
Well, it did, but once you create the illusion, that light comes back. As soon as you create the illusion of the rope um and the grappling hook, the light starts again. So you already have a sense, like from that the tower, this rune chamber, understands the presence of, when there is an illusion, that is effectively like activating the tower.
okay. Yes, and then Brannick would go and he would cast the illusion, and then go and um try to check and see if it's turned real.
So yeah, when you touch it, roll a D100 for me. Alrighty. So when you touch it, I need you to roll for initiative.
I feel like I only roll high for initiative when I have no idea what's going on in the combat.
This is a really good time to roll.
I thought I was clicked on my icon. Apparently not.
Word. So as you touch this object, and as the light starts to like dissipate and it starts to become more real, you kind of feel like the kind of like bristly nature of like a hempen rope, and like the cold of the grappling hook before it like starts to melt away, and you see as like the light kind of starts to dissipate, that this process has failed this time around, and it begins to kind of like melt into this deep dark blackness, and it is something other than what you were hoping for and expected.
Willis kind of mutters, "Well, that sucks. I was kind of hoping that would work. I was going to suggest we made illusions of paper and ink to make copies of our spell books, or at least make illusions of our spell books so we can make free copies of them. But I guess it doesn't always happen immediate. It doesn't always happen."
So I would say this is going to be surprise for all of you, which would basically mean everybody's going to miss their turn and you'll have reactions. I don't think you'll have any sort of reactions of what you can do, but it does kind of open up Brennick, at least like you have the option to kind of shield against this. And I think that's kind of the extent of where your reactions might come and go, is with shield. Um, but it is going to kind of like, almost in response to you touching it, it is going to try to like absorb you in this kind of black goo. Yep, and it's not even going to hit you there. And we're gonna go back around to Velixis. You see this like black goo kind of like reaching out from where the grappling hook was, and it's trying to like encircle Brennick's arm. What would you like to do, Velixis?
Uh, shoot.
Oh shit.
Uh, let's see.
It's actually bigger.
So I'm not sure. I'm so surprised. Can I immediately tell if it's an actual creature or if it's just something unknown?
I mean, it's reaching out for your friend, so
Oh,
and you're
that.
not technically surprised anymore. That was just the first round of combat has come and gone.
Okay, well, damn, casting firebolt at it.
Gotcha. You can roll a straight firebolt attack. Solid hit for 15 damage. It's going to kind of sink into this creature and kind of sizzle a little bit of it away. And it will go to Brennick.
So Brannick doesn't like this thing reaching for him at all. He's going to kind of like with a bit of a panic look on his face is going to kind of like throw his hands out, and you'll see him like mutter a few words, and suddenly multiples of them appear as he casts mirror image, and then he's going to attempt to can he get to the door, or is this kind of blocking him?
It's kind of weird because it's a large creature spawning in a room that it literally cannot be anywhere but on other people. I think you can make it to the door. Is
Okay,
mirror
so
image a concentration spell?
no, just I don't think.
Word.
Nope, just a 1 minute duration.
All right,
Yeah, and
word.
I'm gonna try to kind of flee back out and get into the uh
Gotcha. So it'll reach out and try to attack you. Do I roll to see if it attacks one of them first?
yeah, you roll a d20. I can do that, or and that determines whether it
I
attacks
feel
me
like
or a
it's
duplicate.
I feel like it's you who rolls the d20. Each time a creature targets you with an attack, the spells are. Yeah, I think that's you. So that's its attack, and you can roll the d20.
And it would have an AC of 13. The duplicate.
Okay, word. So, what is it? I think it has a +5. So I think that's going to be a hit on the one duplicate. Yeah, +5. Do they have hit points or does it just kill them?
Just destroys them on one hit if it hits.
Gotcha. So you're down to 2 duplicates.
Yep.
That was action. Yep. So any bonus or any more movement?
Nope, but I'll probably back away a little bit more as far as I can get.
And then I will go to Jimbao.
I will attack with one of each. Just waiting for that to come through.
Alrighty. So the first attack is going to hit, and you are going to take 7 points of acid damage as you pull back your strike, and your hand is burning from where the sword cut through its form, and it has like splashed onto you. Your second attack is going to hit, and you are going to burn for another 4 acid damage. And your sword is going to have a permanent -1 to damage rolls.
In that case, I am going to skip the. I'm going to skip the second attack and run out of the room as well.
What do you mean? Just no
Uh,
bonus attack? No bonus
yeah,
actions?
exactly. I'm only hurting myself.
Gotcha. And it's gonna go to, let's see, Quintas. Yeah, I think he is going to strike out with his longsword. Big old mess. Can he life drain this? I feel like he would know far better than I do right offhand. Yeah, he's going to just kind of like reach out an open palm. And I think Velixis is just going to see this like deathly black stream of energy that kind of connects these two creatures for a moment. And he is going to start to siphon some of the creature's flesh for 3 damage. And a constitution from the pudding. Classic. um, and yeah, so 3 more damage.
I'm sorry. You said siphon this creature's health for 3 damage, and then I missed everything after that. Like, it sounds completely just.
Yeah, like I rolled like a nat 20 for it to save like a constitution saving throw. But he's basically like siphoning the creature's life from it, and kind of failed miserably as I rolled the perfect lowest damage possible. And then I think Dazan is going to. I think Dazan's going to disappear.
Nice.
This is just yells, what the fuck? Hey, does she notice that he vanished like out the front of her eye or something like that? To the soldier, yes, she's gonna yell, what the fuck?
And then the pudding is going to reach out for Velixis. And I believe it will hit you with a 15. Oh shit, it's a longsword slashing damage?
Yes.
Haha, there's 2 of them now.
Damn you, Jinbao!
Yeah, so my bad. So it's going to hit Velixis, and then it is going to deal 7 bludgeoning damage to you, and 21 acid damage to you, Velixis. And then the other one is going to attack Quintus. And I believe that is a hit. Yes. And it's going to do 419 total. And I think that's going to take it to you, Velixis.
One second, because I'm thinking, give me a second. 1 second, I'm sorry.
Are you still standing? I feel like that puts you pretty close to low, right? To out.
It does. I do believe I'm still standing. which is why I'm kind of in a panic. So, is that creature completely blocking the doorway, like from top to bottom?
It kind of gets back into the fact that I don't think you can just walk through these doorways alone.
So, what you said? I can't just walk through the doorway.
The same type of thing, like you're on the ceiling and the doorways don't go all the way to the ceiling. So you have this arch in front of you. Whether the creature is blocking it or not doesn't really matter because, like, the fact of the matter is like we've been playing it that you can't just get through these doorways.
Oh, it's like Brannick or Jin Bao's been kind of helping him up and through each one, or her, I should say, Velixis.
Yeah, we're still on the fact that like you guys are climbing around on the roofs, on the roof. Definitely makes for an extra like crazy situation with that little point of order. I think if you're gonna try to run through, you'd have to do some sort of acrobatics check that is going to be your action. If you have a spell that allows you to teleport, I think you need to teleport.
That's why I'm looking at one. Okay, let me take one quick look through real quick. Okay, I will see. She's panicking, and she looks over at the other guy, and she's like, "I am. Oh God." Because there's two routes she can take with this. Wait,
Do it. What are you doing, Velixis? No more thinking. Act.
okay. She casts fly on herself, and she goes up to the ceiling, and as quickly as possible, she tries to dart out the doorway with fly and into the other room.
So the one is going to reach out. It is going to hit you. I have a feeling that's going to automatically knock you unconscious. Um, it is going to do 6 points in bludgeoning and 17 more points in acid.
I believe Alexis has died.
That's just going to put you unconscious, though, right?
No, before you did that, before you rolled that 3, I got 13 health.
Yeah. But you have to go to. I would have to do. You said 13 health. I would have to do 56 damage to you to take you to negative 43, which is the only negative number that counts.
Oh, okay, then. Yeah, I'm
But
unconscious.
effectively, as you cast fly and start to move up towards the ceiling, it is going to blast you out of the sky and you are going to fall unconscious to the ground. And it's going to go to Brennick.
So as Brannick is rushing out here, he's suddenly realizing that, oh shit, Velixis is trapped. Gonna like, fuck. Gonna rush back. Is he able to try to shape his not shape, but direct his burning hands to avoid hitting Velixis, but trying to hit the both of these things? It's a 15
I
foot
don't see
cone.
why you couldn't basically. Where are you standing right now at the doorway?
Well, I wasn't sure if I could get a view
Well,
on him
no,
from
just
here.
answer that. Yeah, well, as soon as you move one more space, you're going to bump into Dazan. So you can't actually get to the doorway because he couldn't get any further than that. So he's blocking the doorway is one thing.
Oh, okay.
But you can 100%, you can blast Burning Hands basically to the west and hit the 2 puddings.
Okay, I will do that because I don't.
But
So
I'm
I'm
so
gonna
used to taking invisible creatures and turning them actually invisible because it's really hard to trust people to not act on a creature that you like mark as hidden with that little stealth symbol. But that's where he is. So when you go to move any further, like you're gonna bump into him. But you can basically like aim it to the west. You'll hit Dazan as well, but in the long run, you can fry them.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, and not really being able to see him. I kind of like it doesn't really register with me who I've actually bumped into as I go to cast. So I'm more worried about Felixus, and I'm gonna.
I guess wait. Oh, it's such a weird thing because you guys are friendly, but are you allies? I think you can share his space, and I think you could direct it still towards that wall. I don't think there's any reason that you have to hit anybody in doing that.
Okay, so I would just kind of temporarily share his space and then move back.
Yeah, it's difficult terrain like moving past Jin Bao, and you can't end your turn in that spot.
Okay, so in that case, I think I'll only be able to get back to where my token is now. Then
Yeah, it's gonna definitely create a fuster cluck. But yeah, I think you can do that. So, what level are you casting Burning Hands at?
I'm going all out 3rd level.
This was the
Alright.
one creature that it's not specifically in this place, but it's possibly in this place. It's the one creature I did not prepare for, and this is absolutely hilarious. They
Terrible
had
3rd level.
shit for dexterity, so these are -3. Definitely gonna fail. 14 more damage is not going to do a lot to them, but it definitely helps.
Yeah, I can't shape a fireball, so and there's not enough room for me to. So, and then move back to now where I'm at now, and that's my turn.
Yeah, that's the weird thing of what you get 3 extra d6, but you are guaranteed to do at least one death saving throw to Velixis besides what you do to everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, if he hadn't gone down, maybe I would have risked it, but although I guess I don't
You know,
remember if
honestly,
Felixus is
I
on
should have
crunch
did the
trap anymore.
fireball. I started to do that.
Too many people talking. Finish your thought, Brennick.
Oh no, just saying, like if Felixus hadn't gone down, I guess realistically, Brannick Wood doesn't know he's actually down. He just knows he's trapped in there.
Yeah, I think the
Um,
only reason you would know he goes down is because there would be that thump as he like flew away and then fell down unconscious. And then Velixis, what were you thinking?
I was gonna say I started to do fireball instead of fly, but I did fly. But is there any way for me to come out of my unconsciousness with all the commotion going around, or am I still just there unconscious?
No, like you're dying, you're unconscious. Jin Bao, what are you doing?
I'm going to, if I move here, will I have a line of fire with the bow?
It's definitely a more difficult shot, but you can certainly try to take it. I'm gonna throw it out. These things are not exactly AC pools. I think you already hit one with an 8.
And I'm going to use the bow for both the attacks.
Gotcha. So what is that? That's a D8. Are you gonna bonus action add a D4 to it? And then is it with an extra monk die? Is that what it is, or do you have to use a key point to do that one?
Uh, well, I have a couple options, but I have to successfully attack first before I can apply Death Strike.
Is Death Strike the thing that allows you to add the extra monk damage die?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Are you doing the bonus action first?
Uh,
It's like the opposite of your parry spell is you have the bow spell.
Oh yeah, the Kensei shot. Yeah, I'll add that.
All right, so you can add a d4 onto each of those. So roll 2d4. And those arrows are just going to be gone. The puddings are going to melt that. So with the first hit, are you going to do your death strike thing, whatever?
Yes.
And that's an extra die for each one, right? Or is it just on the first one? It's just one per turn?
Correct.
Gotcha. So it is for 15, 16, 17, and then 12 for a total of 29. That pudding is definitely looking pretty mortally wounded at that point. For what that means, I think it's kind of just like a bunch of splashes that are still trying to coalesce together. Anything else from Jinbao at present?
No.
All right, I think Krennic is going to, I think, pull his bow and strike out at the wounded one. And that'll hit with a 10. And that's just an auto kill at that point with how weak it is. And then he'll take another shot at the one that is directly on him. And that one will hit. And it's going to do a total of 6. And then it's going to go to Zan, seeing that everybody has kind of rallied. I think you're going to see as Zan kind of spins around, and he's going to just kind of like, you'll see as he starts to like form out of the void, and you just see as he blows across his like open palm, and this just like dark green substance is just going to kind of like aerate, and as it kind of like scatters across, it's going to mist over that creature, and he's going to cast Acid Splash. Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. It's probably immune to acid damage. I think he would know that. Yeah, my other thought was a fail as well. So yeah, he's just going to kind of show up and effectively do absolutely nothing. And that's gonna go back around to death save from Velix. You can roll a d20, or if you reduce your hit points to 0, you should be able to click on your hit points and see where it has like 3 squares to the left, 3 squares to the right, and a little skull in the center that should roll a death save for you.
Okay, it does have the 3 circles on failure and 3 circles on success. What do I click on? There's a,
And in the center, there should be a little button. I think it's a skull. And then, Brannick, you're going to be up next.
Yep.
So, what are you doing, Brannick?
Brannick is charging back in. He's like, die or whatever you things do, and he's going to same idea, playing out his hands and just trying to blast the thing again with another third level burning hands.
Gotcha. It will singe it pretty strong, and that's going to leave it mortally wounded. As you kind of see a similar condition where it's just like a bunch of little globs trying to like reattach to each other.
And he's just going to move to try and give Jinbao a little bit of a clearer shot if he can, and that's it.
And Jinbao, what would you like to do?
I can see him from where I am.
Yeah, same thing. It has like increased AC from the actual doorways, but you got a shot.
All right. Same thing last time. Apply the Kensei shot. Attack twice with the bow. And then hopefully I'll hit and attack.
Yeah. Solid hit. Roll an extra d4. Yeah, so you'll kill it with that first arrow.
Okay.
Nobody's going to see as Krintos walks over to Velixis, and you can just hear as he's almost damn, I can't do the creepy like fava beans and Chianti. But he definitely is very tempted to suck the life out of Velixis and turn you into a zombie. I think maybe Dazan will kind of walk around that corner. And no, my friend, do not hurt him. Oh, that is not going to be good enough. Dazan will try to stabilize you, but is not going to be successful. And it's going to go to Velixis. Death saving throw. And Brannick.
Right, so Brannick's going to run in. As he's running in, he's recalling a dream he had the night before that he didn't really understand until this moment. And he's going to reach down, trying to stabilize Velixis as well. And he's going to use his remaining portent die to give himself a 15 on the medicine roll.
Oh, very sneaky, sneaky. But yeah, you can stabilize him. So with that, Velixis, roll a d4 for me. I don't think you guys actually have any healing left in this group.
I'm sorry, my screen left the page. Hold on.
Oh, you're good. It's not a big deal. We can pick up with that next week and actually roll to see how long you guys are hanging out inside of here before Velixis wakes up. But effectively, Velixis is unconscious. I don't think this party has any healing to shorten that time frame. So we will pick up with the end of the spire next week here.
Yep, looks like he rolled 2, so 2 hours, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't help but feel Brannick feels it's a little bit his fault for trying to get a little greedy and use the illusion thing, although he probably should have known something this old might be a little unstable, magically speaking. But
Yeah, there's definitely that chance basically of the failure state, and that's the big failure state. Is that it actually like turns it into this like blob of chaotic magic.
yeah, I mean, imagine there has to be some kind of risk of failure, because otherwise I could see people just creating all sorts of stuff just sitting here all day.
Yeah, oh yeah, everything does.
Oh yeah, because like I was saying earlier, I was going to suggest we just constantly create a couple copies of our spell books and other objects.
You're gonna find out pretty quickly that you can't create magical items, and a spell book is definitely a magical item.
It's like that old exploit from, I don't know, was it second or third edition, like the Wall of Salt or something?
Has Brennick started copying into his alternate book?
Yes, he took 4 hours during one of our
Gotcha.
downtimes. I just haven't actually marked it in my what spells he copied over yet. I meant to do that over the week and I forgot, but so far he's just had those 4 hours to do it.
I think that's like the catch-22 is like that book is non-magical until you start copying your spells into it. And I was pretty sure you had. But that's one of those things where I feel like that would have been kind of almost like one of the kind of like twists to how you can kind of benefit from it.
Yeah, while we're waiting for Velixis, yeah.
But it also tells you what the risk is like you're going to be hanging out here in a room where you can turn illusions into reality, but it doesn't mean that you can do it safely.
Right, yeah.